Micatto. MAGNAT Style Micatto is a fine-grain acrylic compound with powdered mica intended to be colored with pigments. The product imitates the texture of smooth cement with locally ground, shiny mica particles that are visible at various light incidence angles. Depending on the application method, the structure may also feature veins. With its porous structure, the product allows walls to breathe. It is resistant to bacteria and fungi, so it can be used in high humidity rooms. No specific skills are required for the application of this product. Application of the coating requires the following products and tools: Magnat primer, a matte Indo primer that gives a uniform background and levels the substrate absorption. Micatto, a fine-grain acrylic compound which imitates smooth cement with shiny mica particles. Coloring pigment, a concentrated pigment for the coloring of MAGNAT-style products. Rustic top coat sealer, a matte acrylic sealer for the protection of the Micatto coat. A paint roller of 10 to 19 mm pile. A paint brush, a Venetian float. Substrate preparation. It is necessary to properly prepare the substrate for the application of MAGNAT Style Micatto. Due to the specific texture of the product, it is recommended to apply the paint on smooth and level substrates. Both new and renovated surfaces need to be coated with Magnat primer. The product is based on nanotechnology. It has excellent covering power, stabilizes the absorbing power of the substrate, consolidates it, and improves the adhesion of top coat paints. It is best to apply the primer with a roller in 1 or 2 layers to obtain uniform substrate appearance. The recommended drying time is about 2 hours per layer. Product preparation. MAGNAT Style Micatto is available as a product for pigmentation. Tint the product with a MAGNAT Style coloring pigment in the color of choice, available from the color card or any other color, remembering that the pigment volume must not exceed 3% of the colored product volume. When several containers of the same product are to be uniformly colored, it is advisable to color them together in one larger container. Applying the first layer. Apply the product when the substrate and ambient temperatures are between 5 and 25 degrees centigrade. Depending on the choice of the final texture, you can either get the veined effect or a more uniform appearance without the veins, where the latter is recommended for larger surfaces. In order to highlight the decorative veined finish, it's advisable to make the veins in the first layer of Micatto already. Apply the compound in a thick layer by running the roller in various directions. Wait for about 10 minutes and then use the Venetian float to make the desired texture. Do this by smoothing the coat in various directions with the float edge. When decorating larger surfaces, the texture should be more uniform, with very few small veins or even completely without ones. In case of no veins, apply the compound in a thin layer with a brush or, preferably, a painting roller. Run the tool in various directions. Wait for 5 to 10 minutes and smooth the slightly drying coat with the Venetian float. Join the successive fragments of the decorated surface from dry to wet sides. When decorating an entire surface, join the paint passes wet on wet. The optimum yield from 1 kilo of product on smooth surfaces is up to 2.5 square meters in one layer. Leave the finished decoration for about 8 hours to dry. Applying the second layer. Apply the second layer of Micatto just like the first one, irrespective of the desired finish effect, that is, with or without the veins. Use a roller to apply a thin layer of Micatto. Run the tool in various directions. Join the successive fragments of the decorated surface from dry to wet sides. Apply the paint on the entire plane without prolonged pauses. This will ensure a uniform decorative surface without visible joints between the passes. After 1 hour or longer, depending on the ambient conditions, smooth the partially dry texture to make the mica particles shine. Smooth the decorative surface carefully so as not to scratch the texture. Depending on the chosen application method and the substrate condition, the optimum yield from a Micatto 8 kilo container is up to 10 square meters in 2 layers of the product. Leave the finished decoration for about 8 hours to dry completely. Surface preservation. Once the Micatto has cured completely, that is after 24 hours, paint the whole surface with the colorless MAGNAT Style rustic top coat sealer for additional protection. Apply the sealer to the surface with a roller. In places that are difficult to reach, use a brush. The drying time of the top coat sealer is about 1 hour. The produced surface is resistant to scrubbing and water with detergent washing after 3 days.